Hello everyone. Here we are looking at one of the most powerful tools for transparency in the AI lifecycle, model cards. Now, if you look this up in a professional framework, the formal definition of a model card is a standardized document that provides a brief, transparent summary of a machine learning model's performance, intended use, limitations, and ethical considerations. But let's simplify that. I like to call a model card the nutrition label for AI. Think about when you buy a box of crackers. The label tells you exactly what's inside, how much salt it has, and most importantly, if it contains peanuts that might trigger an allergy. A model card does the exact same thing for an AI model. It tells a business leader or a regulator exactly what went into the AI recipe and who might be allergic to its outputs. You've probably seen this at the office where a manager asks, "Can we use this AI for hiring?" Without a model card, the answer is just a guess. With one, you have the facts. So, now that we've mastered the basic idea of model cards as nutrition labels, you might be wondering what specific ingredients we need to list first. Well, that brings us right into our next step, which is defining the intended use and scope. Stay with me here, because this is where many companies get into legal trouble. Formally, intended use is the section of a model card that specifies the tasks the model was designed to perform and a specific context in which it should and should not be deployed. In simple words, this is the owner's manual. Imagine you buy a luxury sports car. The manual tells you it's great for the highway but terrible for driving through a swamp. In the AI world, you might have a model that is brilliant at summarizing general emails but was never meant to analyze medical records. If you use it for medical work, it's going to fail. We write this down so that 6 months from now, someone in another department doesn't pick up the model and try to use it for something dangerous. It's all about scope creep prevention. But even if you know what the model should do, you have to be honest about where it struggles. Which brings us right into our next step, which is documenting limitations and out of scope use. Let's break this down together. Admitting a model's flaws is actually a sign of great governance. In professional terms, this is limitation disclosure, which involves identifying and documenting the scenarios where the model's performance may degrade or where its use could lead to unintended harm. To put it simply, this is the warning label. I once saw a model card for a facial recognition system that explicitly stated, "This model does not perform well in low light conditions." That's a huge help. It tells the user, don't put this camera in a dark parking garage. By being honest about what the AI can't do, we actually build more trust with our stakeholders. It prevents a dummy mistake from turning into a PR nightmare or a lawsuit. Now, once we've warned people about the limits, we need to show them the data we use to build the thing, which brings us right into our next step, which is training data transparency. This is a favorite for the chief privacy officers among us. Formally, this section covers dataset provenance and composition, which is the documentation of where the training data came from, its diversity, and any steps taken to clean or anonymize it. In everyday language, this is checking the pantry. If you are making a soup, you want to know if the vegetables were organic or if they came from a dented can. In AI, if your training data only included people from one city, the AI won't understand people from another city. We need to document if the data was biased, if it was legally sourced, and if we scrubbed out people's private names and addresses. You've probably seen this concern at the office regarding copyright or GDPR. The model card is where we prove we did our homework. But just knowing the ingredients isn't enough. We have to show the test results, which brings us right into our next step, which is quantitative analysis and metrics. Now we get to the T in TEVV, testing. Formally, this section is quantitative analysis, which provides the specific performance metrics like accuracy, precision, or recall, broken down by different demographic groups to check for fairness. In simple English, this is the report card. It's not enough to say the AI is 90% accurate. We need to see that it's 90% accurate for men and 90% accurate for women. If it's 99% for one group and only 50% for another, that's a failing grade in ethics. We use these numbers to give stakeholders a clear, honest picture of how the AI performs in the real world. It moves the conversation from "I think this works" to "here is the proof that it works." But even with great numbers, there are still human risks to consider, which leads us to our final stop: ethical considerations and mitigations. Let's wrap this up with the heart of governance. The ethical consideration section is the formal discussion of potential risks like bias, privacy loss, or environmental impact, along with the steps taken to minimize those risks. In simple words, this is the moral compass of the document. This is where we say, we know this AI could be used to track people, so we've added these 3 safeguards to stop that. It's about being a responsible AI parent. It shows our stakeholders, investors, customers, and employees that we aren't just building cool tech, but we are building it with a conscience. We've covered everything from the nutrition label concept to the hard data and the ethical soul of the model. You now have the blueprint for documenting AI in a way that protects your company and informs the world.